Hello, this is the Watchdog. Welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. To date, we are going to review the North Edge Triton. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Cadison C7064, but I put it on a silicone strap that was fitted and designed for a moon swatch, and it looks like it fits it perfectly. So I really like this. This is a big improvement on the NATO strap it came on. And the girl was wearing my Spectin Sun SP00018. Grogu asked Han Solo how his Daedric lessons were going with Grandmaster Boba Fisher. Han said that Boba Fisher called him a certified moron with the Daedric skills of a brain-damaged Ugnaught. Grogu said that sounds unnecessarily harsh. Han said not really. He played a brain-damaged Ugnaught yesterday and lost in 3 moves. Let's take a look at the watch. Comes in this typical North Edge box. Everyone I've ever gotten from North Edge has come in this box, and there's nothing wrong with it. Perfectly a good box. And here's the watch. It's a big sucker. Look at that. Big and chunky and heavy. So if you're waiting for Jody's new Erebus, you might want to get this one instead, because it's just as big and even chunkier and a lot more affordable. Another North Edge on my channel. North Edge watches have been very popular when it comes to my reviews, and I have a feeling this Triton is not going to disappoint in the view department, as the unboxing video has done quite well. This Triton is a big chunky 300 meter dive style watch. I use the word style because it would never pass ISO 6425 certification due to one infuriating decision. This is a solar quartz watch, which solves one of the big complaints of quartz watches, which is battery changes. The disadvantage is that once the capacitor wears out, you'll end up spending more than you would have on batteries. This watch comes in 2 different colorways, and you have a choice between Phantom Black or Baltic Blue. Each one comes on a rubber strap or steel bracelet. Normally, I always recommend the steel bracelet, but in this case, I'm going to make an exception and tell you now in case you don't stay to the end. For God's sake, get the watch on the rubber strap. The watch is 44 millimeters if you measure at the bezel, but 46 millimeters if you measure at the case, because the bezel is smaller than the case. It's 51.1 millimeters lug to lug with straight end links. So there's no inverted versus protruding, it's just straight. Then it's 16.1 millimeters thick with a flat crystal that barely sticks up above the bezel. So yeah, this is a thick watch. And it has a 24 millimeter lug width, and it tapers down to 20 at the clasp. It weighs 181 grams on the supplied solid steel bracelet with 2 links removed. So yes, this is a big and heavy watch. The bezel's ceramic, and it looks really nice. And it's 120 click unidirectional, and the action is really good. But unfortunately, the Lume pip isn't lumed. So this Lume pip is just a dot that does nothing. So I don't know what they were thinking there. That's just such a huge flaw in what otherwise would be a pretty good watch. Then we have the dial. The dial has this wave pattern and it looks nice. We have the North Edge name and logo up top. Then it says solar 50, no, then it says Triton solar 300 meters, 1,000 feet. So you get quite a bit of water resistance. Then you have the indices. We got teeth at the 12 and the 3, 6, and 9, dots everywhere else. And then we do have some minute markers between the indices. And then we have a fence post minute hand, an arrow hour hand, and a lollipop second hand with a red tip. And there's no date on this watch, and there's no date in the movement, so there's no ghost date. Then we have a sign screw-down crown, and the thread action is pretty good. It pops nicely when you unwind it, and then when you go to wind it back up, it catches right away. You don't feel like you're going to strip it. And this does not have any annoying minute hand jump. See, that's perfect. No minute hand jump. Then we have the crystal, and I forgot to check to see if it's sapphire or glass. So let me do that real quick. All right, just to show you, this is glass. No sapphire here. But then again, considering the price of this watch, it's probably understandable. Then we have the case. We have a really big case, and it's fully brushed, which gives it a nice tool watch look. And it's really thick. And then we have the case back. Case back says North Edge Triton. Then it says distributed by North Edge, solar powered, water 300 meters, and 1,000 feet. As you can see too though, it's not a screw down. It's screwed down by 4 little tiny screws that keeps it on. Normally to me this would be a huge complaint, but this is a solar watch, so there's really no need to open it. So you're not going to be changing batteries every 3 to 4 years, so it's okay that you can't open it easily. Underneath the case back, I don't know the movement. It's solar powered, it's quartz, and it seems to be hitting most of the marks, so I'm perfectly happy with it. It's reasonably priced for solar. And then we have the bracelet. And once again, we don't have fitted end links, but look at this. There's no slots for a tool. You cannot take these end links off. You could probably pry them off and break the spring bars, and I'm not about to do that and risk damaging the watch. Or I guess if you could get like a tiny saw blade, you could probably saw the spring bars. So that's really unfortunate. I don't know what they were thinking. All they needed was a slot here and a slot there, and you could easily take off the bracelet. But no, you cannot take off this bracelet. Now we do have push pins right here, so you can take it off the end links, but that doesn't do you any good if you want to put it on a strap. So really unfortunate there, and that's why I said during the montage, buy the watch with the strap, because then you can just buy another bracelet that's actually decent and actually can take on and off. And that will fix the other problem with this watch too, is the clasp. We have a clasp with no micro adjust. This is a 181 gram watch. We need micro adjust. And these are fairly big links too. So if you don't get the perfect fit, it's going to flop all around all over the place. So really need the perfect fit. So we need end links. Plus this clasp is just cheap and pressed, and really just a huge disappointment. So once again, if you want it on a bracelet, get it on the strap and buy a bracelet from AliExpress. It won't cost a lot of money. You can get one with flat end links that you can actually take on and off, and you can get one that comes with a clasp with micro adjust. And furthermore, there's push pins, not screw pins. But not happy at all with this bracelet. I mean, it looks nice, but you can't remove it. What were they thinking? Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That's a big watch, but at least it wears nice and flat on the wrist. I removed 2 links. So 8 1/4 is the best you're going to do. Otherwise, you're going to need more links. And normally I would say, well, just buy 2 and put one on a strap. Well, you can't take one off. So once again, don't buy the bracelet. But I'll just show you what I got. Remove 2 links. Here we are in the Lume room. A good dive watch should have good lume so you can read it under the water when things start getting dark. Unfortunately, this watch doesn't have a lume pip, so you won't be able to see where you set the timing bezel. As we speed up the time, we see a nice green see-through color glow that starts out really good and seems to have decent legs. Unfortunately, there is no lume pip, which is a real bummer, considering that the rest of the lume is pretty nice, except for that rather weak lollipop second hand. It appears that the major hands are fading a little bit faster than the indices, but still would be acceptable lume if it just had a pip. What I like about this watch? Well, it looks great. It's a really nice looking watch. And it does wear nice considering how big it is. It does sit flat on the wrist. And it is solar, meaning you're not going to have to change the batteries anytime. Well, at least not for decades anyway. What are my gripes and groans? No Lume pip. What were they thinking? No fitted end links. Bracelet cannot be removed without breaking or cutting the spring bars. The clasp is a simple pressed one with no micro adjust. And also, I didn't mention this before too. If you look at where the clasp connects to the bracelet goes in. So it's 19 millimeters where the clasp meets the bracelet. And so that means if you buy a 20 millimeter clasp with micro adjust and everything, you're going to have a little gap on each where you put in the spring bar. So not happy with that either. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, provided you get it on the rubber strap. I'm just glad I got it on the bracelet so I can show you why to not get it on the bracelet. Well, thank you for watching my review of the North Edge Triton, and I will be back with an unboxing. I still got a lot of stuff coming from being on vacation, so I will unbox 2 watches tomorrow. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and if you like this watch, be sure to use my affiliate link and I'll get a tiny commission. Just remember, buy it on the strap. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. There you are. And if you haven't seen the Members Choice unboxing yet, be sure to see it. And then I'll be reviewing the Members Choice watch fairly soon. And then the members, get a week-long head start on the review. Bye.